Welcome. My name is Fabrizio, and today I want to talk to you about Kaizen coaching. But first, let's talk about what is Kaizen. Kaizen is a Japanese term that means make for the better. And essentially, it is gradual improvements that you can do every day. Essentially, you can call it continuous systematic improvement. And the best thing about Kaizen, it doesn't take a lot of time. Most people say they don't have time to do improvements. And that is something that I will dispute. In fact, consider this. Dealing with recurring problems takes more time than it takes to actually solve them. Not only that, it's more work. Further, it's frustrating. You know, it's one of the worst problems in terms of morale. And so it really behooves you to solve problems. Put another way, I think that you can't afford not to solve problems. I want to talk to you about how I first learned about Kaizen coaching. Rather than giving you a long litany of exactly how to do it, give you a long list of tools and that kind of thing, instead I'm going to tell you a story. And my mentor was this man, Shigeo Shingo. He was one of the architects of the Toyota production system. When I first learned about Kaizen coaching from him, it was in a machine shop in Ohio. Shingo had me do this. We went on to the shop floor, and he said, "Go talk to that machinist." And he said, "Find out what his problems are." And so, okay, I went and talked to this machinist, and I asked him, you know, what are your major problems? And the machinist said, well, my problem is downtime of the machine due to tooling problems. I said, okay. And he said, and you know what? We just have really crappy tooling. We should spend more money on tooling so the tooling doesn't keep breaking. The problem is bad tooling. I said, okay. So, okay, I went back to Shingo and I reported this. And the first thing he said, are you sure? I said, well, that's what he said. He said it's bad tooling. And he said, you need to find out more. Now, I can't say this in the stern way that he would always say, but he said, you need to find out more. Can you be more specific? Can you get some facts? You need facts. Facts are important. Okay. So I go back to the machinist, and so we dug deeper. And here's what we found out. First of all, waiting for tooling was the biggest issue. Downtime of the machine, because he had to wait for the right tooling to get to him, was actually the biggest issue. The other one was not having the right tooling. Even though the tooling was delivered to him sometimes, it was the wrong tooling. And then he had to go and search for the right tooling himself. And that created a lot of downtime. Because obviously, when he didn't have the tooling and the machinist wasn't there, you know, he was searching, the machine isn't running. Also, sometimes the operator never found a good tool. Sometimes the tool was dull, it was not well maintained, and sometimes it was just the wrong tool. But because he was frustrated, there was a lot of pressure on him to get the job done, he would put the wrong tool in, or a dull tool. And guess what happened? It broke. And then we would have downtime due to tooling. No kidding. You know, he was forced to use bad tooling. Now, that's where his initial response to me came from. He was so frustrated that this bad tooling was breaking and the machine went down, that's what he reported. Now, just think about that. They weren't fixing the problem, and it occurred to him that, okay, bad tooling, downtime, that's my problem. Well, that really wasn't his problem. Ultimately, it was something else. So I kept asking why. Why were things happening the way they were? And we found out two primary problems. One was that there was no standard system for organizing, storing, and retrieving the tooling. No standard system. The second thing was that there was no standard system for maintaining and replacing the tooling. And so ultimately, no standard systems, and then all the other bad things would happen. Okay, so here's the important focus. The quality of tooling was just fine. The company didn't have to spend any more money on better tooling, as the machinist originally thought. It was the organization and maintenance of the tooling that was the problem. That's what needed to be improved. That was going to be the focus for problem solving. So maybe that seems subtle, maybe not, but that was important to get that kind of focus. Once we had that focus, we were able to figure out small tests of change. It only took us a couple of hours to figure out what the real problem was. Then we were able to start figuring out what to do about it. And we immediately started implementing small tests of change to remedy the problem. And we continued to refine those changes. In 1 month, the machine downtime due to tooling went from 15% downtime to 0, just through small tests of change. Now, if you think of the amount of cost that downtime was accumulating, it's just amazing, the kind of savings we had just due to small tests of change. And that is Kaizen. So some things I learned from this experience. One, be systematic. Shingo made me be systematic. And the coach's job is to be systematic. The second thing is, the worker is the content expert. I didn't tell him anything. I just got the information out of him. He knew the facts. He was closest to the facts. I just had to get them out of him. Third, go to the source. I couldn't go to a meeting room, a conference room, and solve this problem. I had to go to where the problem was happening. We went to the machine where the problem was happening. That's where we were able to solve the problem. Another thing is ask open-ended questions. I never once told him what to do. I kept asking open-ended questions. Why things were happening, what if we did this, you know, what are the alternatives? Continued to ask open-ended questions, and I kept asking until we were able to find out what the best solutions were. And open-ended questioning was the most powerful tool that I was able to use with him. Finally, small tests of change work best. If we tried to hit the home run, we wouldn't have been able to do it. But as we started doing small tests of change, that same day, we were getting improvements. He got motivated, management got motivated, management got behind it. We were able to actually make changes immediately and continue to make changes, and eventually they added it up to huge change, 15% savings. So finally, start now, don't wait. In less than a day, we started improvement, and improvement continued to happen. If you want to know more about Kaizen and Kaizen coaching, I'll be teaching a workshop on October 12th and 19th in Portland, Oregon. The workshop will teach the Kaizen improvement method, how to choose the right problem, the Kaizen coaching style and coaching cycle, coaching skills, open-ended questioning, and how to sustain improvements. And for more information, you can go to my website, listed here on the screen, and it'll tell you all about the workshop and the details. Or you can contact me at tomfabrizio@nycpe.com. Well, good luck in your improvement activities, and if I can help you, let me know.